Hello everyone, welcome to our Let's Play series of Torment, Tides of Numenera. This is Colonel RPG as usual, and I'm very happy that you're supposed to join me today as we enter a mall, but before that happens, that was interesting. Oh, it's this thing, it's the thing is in there. Did you see this? I didn't notice that, little houses. We've seen some of these houses before, but yeah, we're here in the courtyard. No, this is not the Memovita courtyard. The Memovita courtyard is another place where we came from. Actually, I went there off camera because I had to sleep, and the reason for that is because, where are the Murdens? They're still here. Okay, good. The reason for that is because we are going into a maw, and this is a new maw, and I think it is gonna be related to Aligern. So it's gonna be interesting for sure. Also, we need to go to our head. So for that, actually, I could have done that already because there's a place where I can kill myself safely. That's the weirdest thing. Kill myself safely. Oh, this is treasure. What is this? What? I don't need that. What? What? Just treasure. We have ciphers in here. We got the black metal. Oh, this is. This is the Murdens treasure. Were they trying to leave? Huh. This metal frame is about as tall as a human and perhaps twice as wide. How am I going to carry it? Rivets hide cleverly constructed joints, and the entire structure can collapse to the size of your forearm. That's how I'm going to carry it. Okay, what about this thing? It's an oddity. Soul of the Forgotten. This casket. Is all that remains of a forgotten people who once lived and prospered in the Ninth World. Their names are etched into the lead in markings that resemble no known language. While beautifully engraved on the outside, the casket is minimalist, even bare on the inside. A single pastille lies within, containing the essence of those who created it. It's interesting that I can use it. Right there. I have no idea what that is all about. Oh, empty cage. Gods, that thing, I don't even want to touch it. Let's get it to Orth before something else happens. Orth? You mean the casket? Yeah. Search the. Yeah. No, he's talking about the frame. I thought it was for Aligern, but maybe it isn't. Huh. Or maybe it's the same sort of frame. We have another oddity over here. The strange device resembles a heavy cinder block with a protruding lens that retracts and extends. It releases a brilliant flash. It's a camera. Heart of Mali. Oh, it's a cipher. Confers Heart of Mali, which counters negative fails and excludes, of course, the permanent ones that cannot be negated. Applied to its character, plus 1 heal, or heals 1 might, 1 speed, and 1 intellect per turn. For 5 turns. Got hiccups. Again, continue having them. I apologize. Let's see what else we have. That was a pretty good cipher. Tucked away in this fleshy abscess is a structure of a pickaxe and is a sculpture of a pickaxe, right there, embedded in a jumble of stone blocks. Near the structure's base is a bronze plaque. Okay, before I do anything, I want to remove some of these things. So I have the cure over here. The enemies drop to their possessions, then aim it wondrously, never attacking while the cure is active, and that lasts for 6 rounds. So this thing is going to go somewhere. Let's make sure that this guy, because the cipher limit is a problem, and you're already at your cipher limit. You're not. So you're going to be able to use that, Aligern. So put that over there, and we have some chemical damage, and that's the point of it all. I'm going to keep these on me. Actually, I probably should keep this on you. So there we go. So they're not on maximum stuff, and I still have a few cipher slots, but let's see what we have. Let's examine the plaque first. Etched on the plaque is a short message. Better to swing the peak than strike the vein. Shins are shackles and treasures. Chains? Treasures are chains. Huh. T-Bird chuckles long and low, spoken like someone who dislikes their money. And shackles. I don't think the artist and I would have gotten along. Yeah, I don't think so either. Let's examine the pickaxe. The shining metal handle towers overhead, completely out of reach. You couldn't touch it without climbing the sculpture itself, and even then it looks far too heavy to move. The pickaxe trembles and you blink. You feel the motion in your mind. You may actually be able to affect this sculpture with your thoughts. Okay. Sounds like an easy thing. My thoughts are pretty powerful. You focus on the handle of the pickaxe and think. Move. It twitches, but nothing else happens, shutting out every sound around you, every tremor in the floor, and the soft thumping of your heart. You pit your full attention against the shape of the tool above. With a hoarse scraping sound, the pickaxe retracts from the stone blocks, and a waterfall of shins cascades from the inner recess in the sculpture into a pile between the blocks. You won a battle of wits with a sculpture, Herites gasps. Congratulations! The hero should have solved that challenge, he thinks. We feel cheated. Well, it'd be funny if I had done that with Herites, and that probably would have counted it as me as well. Let's take the shins. Because why not? As you reach for the shins inside the sculpture, a strange feeling of revulsion sweeps over you. But we're gonna take them anyway. I'm demoralized. Ah, well. Whatever. You quickly scoop up the shins with each handful. The queasiness seems to sink deeper into you, fogging your thoughts. Okay, red tide has increased and silver tide has increased. Gained 180 shins, and Herites gains demoralized, and until the next... Oh, we have... Oh, it's not good. Because we have the rested thing now, because we slept too much, and now we have the rested, but we're gonna need to sleep again. Okay, let's leave the sculpture. Let's see what demoralized actually is. Minus 20% willpower, minus 15%... Oh, on all evasion tide. That's bad. That's a really bad thing. Fortunately, I don't care. I'm gonna go back and just sleep again. Because we can. This immense pile is comprised of shiny baubles, decorative objects, and broken bits of Numenera. Most of the treasure has no practical value whatsoever. Yeah, I figured. Skeletal remains of a human lie amidst the treasure, clad in shiny armor. Unfortunately, the armor is purely ornamental. What about that one, though? We have ourselves a usable artifact and an oddity, a floating pendant. Oh, that looks cool. What is that for? Oh, it's like a thing that you put around your chest, held by an invisible chain. Huh. This pendant is in the shape of a tiny, simplified brem. And we got some shins. What is this thing? Oh, it's a mirror caster! Filled with ingenious clockwork mechanisms, this cobalt horror-y, I love that word. It's so weird. I don't even know what it means, but yeah. It depicts a solar system. It does. Far different from your own. The tiny planets orbit and rotate soundlessly and endlessly, the pattern of their paths no doubt revealing alien destinies and prodigies to be puzzled out by learned beings in some distant unknown place. Here, it is merely a novelty, the one that invites contemplation. Indeed. And we'll take it all, and we'll use it in a little bit. And what do we have here? A cloak. It's an artifact, though. Is it? Oh, yeah, feather cloak. It gives armor and resistance and movement speed. Really? That's fantastic. That is awesome. What about this one? It's an oddity. Compass of the Navigator. The synth device appears to be a compass of some sort. Of some sorts? Yeah, of sorts, I guess. Runes and eye-twisting markings lining its edges. The compass arrow swings in seemingly random directions, as if it were trying to steer you. That's an interesting thing. What? Is that a reference to something, or... What? So we got a cloak over here that gives will powers and intellect tasks. And you have some evasion right there, which is good, but actually for you, the movement... He's pretty movie already. He's not, though. And you got some willpower and melee tasks. And you have evasion and willpower. I mean... That's his coat. Okay, so these are his their coats. Okay. So I think... Oh, can he only be used by me? No, fortunately not. Okay, so I'm gonna give it to you right there. Oh. How does it... Oh, it's only usable by me. Come on. Really? Okay, so I won't be using it. It's nice to have the resistance. But actually it doesn't matter because it just gives you armor, and the movement speed, it doesn't really matter because I don't need that. So there we go. We got a few things. What is that thing over there? Brightly colored bits and bobs form a small pile here, all of it completely worthless. Okay, so let's go outside first and deal with whatever's coming. And then we're going into a mirror caster and see what happens. Into that mirror caster, and we're gonna see what happens. I think the Murdens might be waiting for us. They're not, surprisingly enough. Interesting. Okay, well, let's make our way to the exit. And we'll use the mirror caster over there. Just do our path, one beat at a time, and then these guys are waiting for whatever. The guy's dead. Did I look at him? Strips of flesh have been torn from this corpse, and the eye sockets are empty. Judging by the armor, this was one of the Memo Video's thugs. Indeed. Okay, so, mirror caster time. What do we have? Over there. Use. As soon as you place this device in the palm of your hand, the stately dance of the clockwork planets mounted upon it become a frantic spinning reel. In the heart of the thing, a contemplative hum grows, as though the machine itself were studying the paths of the planets above it. Listening, you hear shadows of words within that sound, speaking of the mirror within this device. Let's inspect the mirror casted further. You study the whirl of the planets in your palm. Your eyes might be deceiving you, but it does seem as though some of the orbs are slightly transparent, and that tinier planets are orbiting within them. Huh. Is that even a possibility? Planets inside planets? Is that... No. What? I don't... Just, could be that they're structures, megastructures. They actually have a name, these megastructures that are bigger than planets. I don't know the name of that. Actually, is it called megastructures? Nah, they have a name. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Let's enter the mirror and see what we have over here. This is in another solar system. Okay. Blue. Just blue. Once you had 24 words for all its hues and shades. Metaphors to glaives' escapes and courtesans' eyes. Now, the sky is just blue. The ground is stone. The man before you, fat. No, now all is vague and drab-like. The memorialist sees you've stopped and he halts as well. Let's have a rest then, he says, passing you a bottle of fortified water as he catches his breath. You knew... Fortified water? What's that? Just booze? Was that fire water? I don't know. You knew a word for that too. This drink they brew in the Valley of the Dead Heroes. Oh, it's... What? It's here? Huh. Gone. The word. We aren't far from his cenotaph. The fat man wipes his brow. Deep in your pockets, your hand feels through the... Wait a minute. We might be reading the memory... I have no idea. Deep in your pocket, your hand feels for the round tin that holds the worms. Your fingers clutch it tight. As they do, they brush a piece of paper. Are you his shadow? The memorialist asks abruptly. Calagat Amvor, I mean. The one you came to see. Yeah, these guys are crazy. They always think that, yeah, basically the past is the future and the future is the past. Anyway, without waiting for a response, he barrels onwards. We thought he'd cast his shadow among his own kind. We reasoned that with the Tabat gone, his line was lost forever. He stops and flushes more deeply, then hastily with a sign, heads. But shadows fall where they will, as they will. Calagat Amvor, Tabat, shadows, they fleet around the edges of your mind, escaping your grasp, but the worms, they are well within reach. Shall we continue, Pilgrim? The memorialist asks, to break the silence. One more short hike will do. Your body is ready, your mind is not. This guy's a little bit annoying, isn't he? He talks a bunch. Let's ask. Calagat Amvor, shadows, Tabat? The memorialist regards you skeptically, as if he expects to be the butt of a joke. As he looks in your eyes, however, he softens. We live in a world of darkness, Pilgrim, and each of us is just a shadow of one of the great heroes buried here in this valley. But there is a light that shines behind the world. To know it, we shadows must measure ourselves against the heroes who cast us, and thus learn the light that lives beyond. He takes a swig from the canteen. I thought you set out on this pilgrimage to visit the tomb of Calagat Amvor because you were his shadow. That you wanted to stand before him and find enlightenment. Am I wrong? Are you his shadow or not? Yes, I'm his shadow. The memorialist smiles. It's a rare honor to join shadows and hero, and and a joy for you, for those of us who shepherd pilgrims through the valley. He gestures to the hilltop towards which you have been hiking. Just over that rises the monument. As for his tomb, you said that the cenotaph would lead the way. I can't see how, but for the famous puzzle breaker of Sagas Cliffs, I'm sure it will be simple. Your mind might still be clouded, but at least now the form of things has become clearer. Let's examine the paper in your pocket. You slip the crisp, neatly folded sheet from your pocket and carefully open it. I will want the worms, he says, but I will be strong. Oh, wait a minute. What is it? Oh, it's a note to myself. I will want the worms, but I will be strong. I will wonder what I have lost, but they will only rob me further. I will endure, and I will build the tower of my intellect anew. Calagat Amvor will furnish the material. The mind link, not the worms, will be my tool. The mind link. A dead-eyed trader from Haref sold it for the last of your once great heap of prizes and bounties. Now it's slung from your belt, a hideous mask with a synth tube hanging off it like some Satoshi tentacle. Let's examine the tin in your pocket. The tin is old and unremarkable, scuffed and dented, but sturdy enough it opens easily. Inside is a clump of bristly worms, blind and thin, barely moving. Your fingers itch and tremble. Your nostrils flare. You no longer know their name, but you know exactly how to use them. Careful not to spill the precious contents, you close the tin and slide it back into your pocket. I'm not gonna use the worms right now. Let's go. I want to see the cenotaph. Oh, that's a beautiful thing. As you follow the memorialist up the crumbling path, he carries on about a time when all the roads in the valley were as well paved as the streets of Sagas Cliffs. Then, reaching the hill crest, he falls into a reverential silence. When you catch up, which is a good thing because it's annoying. When you catch up, you see the sight that awed him, even for the thousandth time. A clutch of exquisite monuments, ranging from vast to miniature, from abstract to eerily lifelike. The memorialist points to one of them, a many-sided slab of black stone, and gestures for you to follow. This must be the cenotaph of Calagat Amvor, Tabat General, and would-be world conqueror. Huh. Up close, the cenotaph is not so remarkable. Its faces are adorned with gruesome stylized reliefs depicting the Tabat and their Dragolith mounts trampling the corpses of their foes. Neat geometric glyphs encircle the planets. Like the images themselves, they are embossed rather than engraved. The memorialist clears his throat. Of course, Calagat Amvor isn't here. Like the other heroes, his body is in one of the cells, like in the catacombs beneath us. He nods at the monument. This is its own sort of shadow. All memorials are. As your guide mumbles something about the difference between expression, impression, and reality, your attention returns to the cenotaph itself. Oh, well, let's study everything. Should I snort a worm? Let's do that. Ooh. Gripping a grub between two fingers, you slip it into your nostril and breathe as deeply as you can. The worm works with you, eager to reach its meal. You feel it squirm the last stretch and then pain like a knife stabbing your brain, and you know the worm is feeding, eating gray matter and piecing neurostimulants, letting your mind reconquer the vast territories it has lost. Oh my god. Nematodes, that's what they're called, not worms. And cerulean. That's the sky color. Cerulean. Is that a color? Apparently it is. That's the sky's color, not blue. Oh, is it a different sort of shade? Because the blue of the sky is different because, or the reason why we have blue sky is because of the refraction of light and all that sort of stuff. It's actually an interesting thing. The same reason why we have blue, some people have blue eyes, I don't. Yeah, the blue sky, the sky is not necessarily blue all the time. If our atmosphere changes enough, and it might have changed enough in through the history of the Ninth World, it will change the color of the sky as well. So cerulean, I'm gonna write it down and I'm gonna look it up. I want to see what color that is. It seems like an interesting thing. I don't know what that is, but yeah, that's the sky's color, not blue. It could still be blue, but it could be just a different blue than the one we have right now. The rush of understanding overwhelms you. You read the world's unwritten words, devise stratagems, unravel mysteries. Then it's gone again. Words and thoughts slip from you as you frantically struggle to hold on to what you can. The worm's short gift has been squandered. They must be used carefully, sparingly. With a shaking hand, you twist the tin shut and slip it back into your pocket. Dang it! Okay, let's examine the images. No doubt some historian could tell the tale behind each panel. What doomed race the Tabat annihilated here? What grand battle was waged there? But to you, they're just an ugly blur that tugs at shameful memories without ever quite dragging them to the surface. This is not the knowledge you came for. On one side of the cenotaph, there's something else. An obscene picture, crudely etched rather than raised, its edges scorched black. The memorialist clears his throat, awkwardly. A graffito from just after the Tabat were beaten. Carved with a plasma torch by a bitter nano. He coughs again. The visual pun on the black 3 must be obvious. Sadly, we can't possibly fix the damage. And yeah, that's the graffito. that's what we call graffiti as a singular thing, don't we? Graffiti for us is it's a like one thing, one graffiti. And graffiti is actually the plural form of graffito. Actually, graffito is should it be graffitas? Graffito is Italian, right? It should be, because that's yeah. It should be graffitas. Graffitas is Latin. And actually, if it is referring to what a graffitas is, basically in Latin, basically what they did is you'll see like in you know, cups and all that sort of stuff, all the sort of cutlery that remains from Roman times. You'll see some written stuff, usually just to mark their owner, because of reasons. But you'll also see stuff like, you know, jokes like dicks or other sexually suggestive pictures drawn on things and paintings and all that sort of stuff. The Romans were funny people, as we are today. So it's basically, it's just, they were humans as us. So that's what it is. A graffito is just anything that's graphically written on things. Let's study the glyphs. What seemed at first individual glyphs are far more complex. Smaller symbols assembled into larger patterns, linked into chains, twined and twisted into knots. Never a tangle or ramble. It is more mathematical or scientific notation than language. Running your fingers across the glyphs, you see that they shine briefly under your touch, then fade. Perhaps there is a formula here to be solved, a struggle, a higher hidden order to be found. Perhaps here you could catch glimmer of the Tibet's military mastery, but the sieve of your mind holds nothing, and any secrets slip right through. As you struggle to decipher the symbols, the memorialist hurries over. This one means war, he says, illuminating a cluster repeatedly, endlessly on the cenotaph. This one, death. And he picks out others and shows how the ideogram for soldier weaves into warband, which can in turn mash into column and army. Excitement grows in his voice as he leads you to another panel and shows you the unique markings that compose the pattern for underspine. A high council, we think, or god. Huh. Yeah, we've read about this. Huh. He notes what seems to be a structure to writing, a pattern within the pattern. Could it be a puzzle to open the way to Calagat Amvor? He says. He asks expectantly. You have no answer for his hopes. I think he might not know what he's talking about. I hope he doesn't. The reason is, for somebody that has a completely... I mean, these guys were a different race. There's no way a single word means, like, such simple concepts as war or death. And the reason for that is because war is a very, very complex concept. That thing over there, war doesn't apply, for example, if you're trying to get out of bed in the morning and I don't want to, but I need to because I need to go to work. That's war. You could generally conceive that as being war, but we don't call it war because it's not. You know what I mean? So another race might have a word for that struggle, and that same word be the same exact word that you call two countries going at each other because of one reason. So you know what I mean? So maybe he's just misinterpreting or, you know, simplifying these things for my benefit, but it's probably because he has a limited reach of this, or it's because the writer didn't think of this particular translation that it doesn't work. Translating things like this doesn't work like this. It doesn't work. So it could be that just it adds depth to the character, or it might be an oversight of the writer. We'll see. We'll see. So let's study the basin. Carved into the cenotaph's plinth is a wide, shallow bowl, perfectly smooth, perfectly ovoid. In the center is a small drain that runs into the monument. Around its rim is a geometric pattern, simple and composed of a single recurrent shape. You recognize the symbol. Blood, of course. It could be nothing else. Your guide keeps back from the basin as you examine it and shares no thoughts. We found one of these things in the Valley of Dead Heroes, didn't we? I think we did. Spill some of your blood in the basin. Beneath your guide's worried gaze, you nick your wrist and drizzle some blood into the bowl. Nothing comes of it. Whatever flows through your veins will not slake the stone's thirst. Let's try to find the correct sequence of glyphs. You trick yourself into thinking that you can crack whatever code the stone holds, but neither logic nor luck makes any headway. The glyph shines and fades, but nothing happens. Given the endless combinations, not even the persistence you had of old could break through this lock. Yeah, you're probably gonna need the help of a machine or something like that. Just some sort of algorithm that can go through or whatever. But I'm not gonna do that. I could sacrifice the Memorialist, though. Huh. Yeah. Why not? It's not me that's making that decision. And besides, it might be accurate. Because this guy, I think this guy actually thinks he might be the descendant of the Tibet, so he's probably not a very good person. He also hasn't spoken a single word. So I don't know. Perhaps your guide underestimates the strength still coiled in your sinews. Perhaps he imagines... Of course, this is gonna doom him to die. But, you know, that's a memo vita. That's always the death of somebody, I think. No, not memo vita, the thingy. The Mirrorcaster, yeah. Perhaps your guide underestimates the strength still coiled in your sinews. Perhaps he imagines your body has gone soft as your mind. Or maybe his faith gives him no cause to fear leaving his world of shadows. Whatever the case, he hardly seems to flinch as you swing a jagged rock towards his head. The sound is more of a thud than a crack, but any fool could see his skull is smashed. You drag his body to the basin and saw at its neck until the blood begins to run, filling the bowl faster than its narrow drain can empty. Which is a good thing, because it must be that is... How do you do that? You need to turn it upside down, because a dead man, if the blood is not pumping, if the heart is not pumping, then the blood is not going to flow. Or, I don't understand. I don't know that. But I'm sure he does, because we've all seen the movies. You get shot, there's a lot of blood. And we all see the video games, it's the same exact thing. So, yeah. You step back and watch as the glyphs glow bright blue, casting with their light a kind of shimmering portal in the air. Though through it, you see hints of a room. Let's step through the portal right away. You step towards the wavering energy field and stare at the blue-tinged tomb beyond. The blood price has been paid. The Caligat Amvor rests within. Tarrying no longer, you plunge through. I think he might have known... I think he might have known what he was here for. Because I don't think we would have gone... We would have been able to just go around... Because he said, okay, it's not here that we need to come. But I don't think we would have just gone around all the way through the entrance of the under thingy where we are right now. The tomb's walls are bare stone, as is its floor. In fact, the room is empty, except for the sarcophagus that sits at its center, a crystalline Numenera that hums with ancient, indefatigable energy. Bathed in the portal's light, the room feels almost underwater, a sensation heightened by the air's unnatural weight. Okay. And that's gonna be that for this episode. We're gonna snort... Nah, I'm not gonna snort another worm. Should I? Let's study first, and then we'll snort another worm. But for right now, I'm Colonel RPG, and this has been Torment, Tides of Numenera. I really hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, go ahead and leave a comment, like the video, but above all, thank you so much for watching, and I hope I'll see you next episode. Bye-bye!